Let's talk about the different types of exposures. What are we going to invite people to? What's the best? Is there a best? I'm going to give you my opinion as being a consultant to you. You can argue with this opinion if you want, but I'm going to give you what is the absolute most effective thing to invite somebody to, all the way down to the absolute worst thing to invite somebody to. Would that be helpful to you? Yes. All right. Number one, large company event. Number one, a big event. Whether it's local, regional, some big event where they're talking about your company, your product. Got 1,000 people in your city or a couple thousand people in your region. That's by far the most effective. You get people into an event like that, you get a prospect into an event like that, they have no shot. Their imagination is just going to absolutely be captured. They're going to see so much social proof of other people succeeding. They're going to see so much energy and so much credibility and so much power and so much influence. They're going to build relationships with other people there. It's super powerful. Super powerful. Now, the downfall of this is it's the hardest to invite to. It's the most effective, but it's the hardest to get people to show up. You ever try and invite people to, anybody? How many people have local meetings in your local area once a month or once a week or something? Big presentations at a hotel or whatever. Okay? If you invite 20 people, how many are going to show up? One or two? 20 people you invited. One or two is going to show up. 3 or 4 is going to show up. Right? If you're brand new, depends on if you're influential or not. But I can't tell you how many good leaders I lost over the course of my career. They were excited, they invited 10 people, they all said they were going to be there. And those 10, they stood there at the door saying, I can't believe none of them showed up. I thought they respected me. Nope, not enough. But this is the most effective for sure. It's just hardest to do. Second most effective, small group. Home meetings, luncheons. I'm a huge fan of luncheons, by the way. As far as something to invite people to, huge fan of luncheons. It fits business people's schedule. It fits everything. It's just so great to be able to invite people. They get a quick lunch. You do a quick presentation. They go back to work. It's amazing. I love it. It's not done as much as I would recommend people do it, but that's okay. Take that for what it's worth. But how many people use home meetings within your company, within your opportunity? Home presentations. Okay? Many of you at home, I'm sure many of you. What I will tell you is those are also very effective. You still get social proof. You get some energy. You get some relationships. You meet some people. But is it easy to get them to show up or hard? Hard. And what happens after you invite somebody and they don't show up? Is it easy to re-engage them after that? No, it's tough. So we got to go through a lot of numbers in order to be able to get a result, right? But they work. When we get them in the room, it's amazing. Now, if you're highly skilled, you can do this. Or if you have a person willing to go through the numbers or they're influential, you can do this. This will get you results. Don't get me wrong. It's the second most effective presentation tool in the world. Third, face-to-face, like a two-on-one presentation. You and somebody in your upline or a friend in the business and a prospect. You still get a little bit of social proof because you have somebody else with you. It's not all about you. You got somebody else, third party, that can help with the presentation. That works very, very well. You will lose some people because they don't know the other person that they're going to be meeting with, so they might be a little intimidated by that. And you also may run into challenges with that other person being available. They're not available, so you're trying to figure out a way to make this all work, right? Anybody experienced any of those things? Yes. Are they effective? Answer is yes. They're very effective. But they have their series of challenges. They're the third most effective, but they have their limitations. Number 4, one-on-one. Very easy to get people to show up. Easier than a two-on-one. Less threatening because it's just the two of you. You don't have as much support, so you're going to have to lean on third party and different kinds of things. You don't have as much support. But highly effective. Number 5, one-on-one with technology. FaceTime, Skype, those types of things. Using technology, but still face-to-face. Face-to-face using technology. You do that, you can rack and stack and do that. Don't leave your house, don't do anything. But a face-to-face, you and me sitting in a coffee shop is going to be different than you and me sitting looking at our computers as far as effectiveness. Okay? But if you don't have a choice, you can do that. It's no problem. Number 6 is a tool. Get them to watch a video, an audio, printed material, sample the product, watch it, view a link, those types of things. That's the 6th. And number 7 is to do nothing. So those are what you can choose to do, and not necessarily as an end in mind. What I want you to think about here is think about all of these as potential tools that you can use in order to be able to fully expose your prospect to become educated about your product or your opportunity. Okay? So for example, you could start at the lower end with a tool, and then you could end up doing a one-on-one, then you can end up bringing them to an event, and you can go up the ladder. Or you can invite them to a big event. If they show up, great. If they don't, then you can bail to a tool, and then you can move back up the ladder. See what I mean? You could decide, I think the sweet spot, because we have a difficulty in a success ratio from top to bottom that increases as you go down, right? Success is smaller as a percentage at the top, but it's still highly effective. I think the sweet spot is here as a mix of effective and as far as being successful in setting it up and making it happen, and effective in getting results. But generally what I'm going to tell you is, and third-party tools, understand I've made a fortune with third-party tools, an absolute fortune with third-party tools. But face-to-face changes relationships. Here's what I know. So what I prefer to do is start with some sort of an event invitation, and if for whatever reason that doesn't happen, or they reject it, or gives you resistance, they don't show up, whatever, then bail to a tool, and then come back to an event. That's what I recommend for most, is start with an event. Hey, come over to my house. Let's meet one-on-one. There's somebody I want to introduce you to. Set up a two-on-one. Right? Or there's this big event. It's once in a lifetime. It's happening in our city. The vice president of the company's coming. I told him about you. I want to introduce him to you. I'll teach you how to do all those invitations, by the way. And if they say no or they no-show, then you say, I understand. Life gets in the way. Then you can do an invitation to send them a tool, pique their interest, then maybe meet them for coffee, and then move them up the ladder. Because most of you started somewhere. I don't know where you started, but think about where you started. But ultimately, you ended up moving up the ladder, didn't you? Ultimately, you might have went from a tool to a one-on-one to a two-on-one with somebody else. You met somebody else in the business, to a small group to check that out, see what it was like, and then see the company event. It's like, oh, okay, that's interesting. Right? Make sense? So this is what we're inviting people to. Now, you can decide. There are whole cultures. Now, within your culture, I want you to do what works inside of your culture. But listen to me. Be a student of what really works, not just what sounds good. Be a student of what really works, not just what's being taught. And I've learned this from hard experience. Like, I'll give you an example. I worked with a company, and one of the top distributors would just absolutely never, under any circumstance, should you ever do a one-on-one. I said privately, what are you talking about? He said, I don't believe you should do a one-on-one. I said, I was his upline. I said, I see your downline, right? You know that, right? I know what all of your strongest lines are doing. And guess what they're all doing? One-on-ones. Yeah, but I don't think they should. Okay. Shouldn't we be a student of what works? Shouldn't we be paying attention to what works? Sometimes people, because they were stuck in some tactic, they get hung up on some tactic. And because that tactic worked 4 years ago, they've been pounding it ever since, trying to get it to work again. Sometimes tactics change. Ways that we connect with people change. Ways that we communicate change. Be a student of what works, not just what sounds good. Inside of your company, there are some companies that they do all of their prospecting and presenting online. Some don't. Some are totally built around their company convention and getting people there and regional events. Some don't. Find out what's working inside of your company and model that behavior, okay? But know this, at the end of all of this, what we're going to do is try to teach you how to invite in a way that gets results. That's our goal, okay? Don't get hung up on the tactic. You're going to be inviting to whatever system is in your company that is working. Invite to that.